In this lesson, we're going to talk about order of operations. Specifically, we'll understand the order in which to simplify arithmetic expressions, and we'll be able to evaluate expressions using the order of operations with and without a calculator. With the calculator demonstrations, I'm going to recommend that you get comfortable with the calculator, one of the two approved that you're using for this class. Unfortunately, I don't have a good way to show what's on my calculator, but I'll be mentioning both as I go through this lesson. So order matters. So take yourself out of math, for instance, and think of some examples in your life where order is important. So for instance, I don't know if any of you are going to campus this semester, but you have to buy your parking permit before you park on campus. Or when you're reading a book, you have to read it left to right. Same thing with reading music. It reads left to right. And there are many other examples that you might have thought of. And so just like order is important in our day-to-day lives, order is important in math as well when we're simplifying expressions. For instance, just to show you as a demonstration of why order is important, when we're being asked to simplify this problem, -2 plus 3 times 8 minus 6, let's say we started with -2 plus 3. Now don't take these as right answers necessarily. Take this as looking at our different possibilities. So -2 plus 3 would be 1 times 8 minus 6. And then let's say I did 8 minus 6 to get 1 times 2. And I got an answer of 2. Or let's say I started with 3 times 8. So -2 plus 24 minus 6. And then let's say I did -2 plus 24. So 22 minus 6. And then let's say I simplified that even further to get 16. Or let's say I started with 8 minus 6, so negative 2, -2 plus 3 times 2, and then I did -2 plus 6 and 4. Okay, so I just did this problem 3 different ways and got 3 different answers. But as you all know, with a type of problem like this, there's only one right answer. So this was just a demonstration as to why order matters. Okay? So order of operations, you might have remembered it as PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, where the P stands for parentheses, or what I like to call groups. Parentheses is a little confusing because, as we talked, parentheses could also denote multiplication. So the spirit of parentheses is something that might be denoted by parentheses, but that has a lot going on inside of it. E is for exponents. Multiplication and division are done left to right once we get to that part. And then addition and subtraction, which is also done left to right. So what this means is after we've taken care of the parentheses or the groups and the exponents, when it comes down to looking at multiplication and division, we look at it left to right. After we do parentheses, groups, exponents, multiplication, and division, when it comes to addition and subtraction, we go left to right. So what this means is addition doesn't necessarily come before subtraction. Multiplication doesn't necessarily come before division. Okay, these groupings are done left to right. Exponents. So we need to do a quick review of exponents before we jump into our examples. So exponents come in the form of a raised to b, where a is the base and b is the exponent. The exponent tells us how many times we multiply the base by itself. So for instance, if we have 3 squared, 3 is our base, 2 is going to tell us how many times to multiply 3 by itself. So this would be 3 times 3 to get 9. Let's do a couple of examples of finding the value of the expression with exponents, and then we'll go to problems regarding order of operations. So part A, oops, I already gave it away. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. In part B, notice how there's parentheses around -2, which means that -2 is our entire base. So in this case, this means -2 times -2 times -2, which is -8. Part C is a little different. Notice the negative is outside of the parentheses, which means that 4 is our only base. In this case, we can rewrite this problem as negative in front means multiplication by -1. We have 4 squared. So we have -1. 4 squared is 4 times 4. So in this case, we would have negative 16. Next, example 2. Find the value of the expression or simplify. When I have multiple directions here, in this case denoted by the slash in between, it means that you might see it either way in the online homework system. Part A. So we use order of operations. So we're going to start, we don't have any groups, but we do have exponents. 2 cubed is 8. We still have multiplication because we haven't done that part yet. And 3 squared is 9. Now we have 8 times 9, which gives us 72. Okay, and you can plug this in your calculator as well. The exponent button is this little caret. And let me see if I can find it on the other calculator. On the other calculator, you could use this power button. I think that would do it. Yes. So you would type in your base, and then you would use this X to the blank box, and then you could type in 3 and hit equals, and it would give you 8. Usually if I were in class, I'd have a document camera and I could switch back and forth from notes to the calculators, but I'm sorry, my setup doesn't allow for that. So if you need help with the calculator, we can meet anytime and screen share, and I can show you a little bit better that way. Part B, 21 minus 5 squared plus 5. So parentheses, there's no grouping, but there is exponents. 5 squared. So we have 21, 5 squared is 25, plus 5. Okay, so parentheses we took care of, or there weren't any. Exponents, there's no multiplication and division. So now this is the part where left to right becomes important. We're just left with addition and subtraction, but you don't necessarily do the addition first. This is where we go left to right. So we start with 21 minus 25, which is negative 4, plus 5, and negative 4 plus 5 is just positive 1. Example 3, again, find the value of the expression or simplify. So looking at part A, this 2 squared minus 3 is the spirit of parentheses. We've got a grouping going on here. Okay, and just for thoroughness, this is multiplication. Even though there's a parentheses there, what this means is multiplication. So that's why when it comes to order of operations, I like to talk about it as groups. So we do our what's in our group first. So we have 3. Inside of our group, we take care of the exponents. 2 squared is 4 minus 3. Keep the parentheses there until you've simplified it completely. Next, we have 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So now we have multiplication, plus 7. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 7, and so we're left with positive 10. For part B, we have a fraction, so we have a numerator and a denominator. So I would follow order of operations on both. So take a look at the numerator, take a look at the denominator, and then divide those two numbers. So in the numerator, we have 2, and then we have a grouping. So we'll take care of that first. 3 squared is 9 minus 1, plus 10. In the denominator, what comes first is the 3 times 5. So that's 15 minus 14. Moving on, this should be equals. In the numerator, 9 minus 1 is 8. We have plus 10. And then in the denominator, 15 minus 14 is just 1. In the numerator, we have multiplication, 16 plus 10 over 1. And we keep going. Last, we have addition. So we have 26 over 1. And so the final answer is just 26. Thank you for watching. If you have any additional questions, feel free to contact me, stop by office hours, or free tutoring is available.